Like, cause like I said, like, people gonna talk, people gonna make up stuff, people gonna say things. That's just a part of the game. You know what I mean? People have said the most craziest shit about people all the time.
But you just get tired of like bro, I don't want to see naked men, bro. That's my preference, though. I'm allowed to have that preference.
Jermaine Dupri might have just been exposed for his alleged involvement in Diddy's controversial dealings with young stars, and the internet is ablaze with speculation. Rumors are swirling about a leaked tape that reportedly reveals shocking details of what went on at these infamous parties, raising serious questions about the actions of some of the music industry's biggest names. If even a fraction of these claims turns out to be true, it could lead to career-ending scandals for those involved. The whispers have left fans and insiders wondering what's really been happening behind closed doors, and it seems Jermaine Dupri is in full panic mode. So, what's the real story? And why are these allegations causing such a frenzy? Stick around, because we're diving into all the messy details, and trust me, the tea is scalding hot. Bow Wow's recent comments about missing Diddy's parties have stirred up quite the controversy, especially in light of the darker revelations emerging about what allegedly went down at these infamous events. On the surface, Bow Wow seemed to be reminiscing about the good old days of lavish celebrity gatherings. However, given the growing number of people coming forward with horrifying accounts of their experiences at these so-called parties, it's no surprise that his remarks didn't sit well with many. The internet was quick to side-eye Bow Wow, questioning the timing and tone of his nostalgia amidst such serious allegations.
We ain't going. He was just such a gatekeeper for him. The liquor in the clubs, like he was everything about.
But that's not all. Bow Wow didn't just casually mention missing Diddy's parties. He specifically credited Diddy with teaching him the lifestyle. Let's be real. In an industry where the lifestyle often involves rubbing elbows with the rich and powerful in exchange for favors, that comment raised a lot of eyebrows. People couldn't help but wonder, was Bow Wow hinting at something deeper? Was he a willing participant in these wild parties? Or worse, one of the victims? The fact that he kept emphasizing how different things feel without Diddy around only added more fuel to the fire, leaving fans speculating about the true meaning behind his words.
Like Bow Wow said that he is upset, or he feels the way that there's no more Diddy parties. He's like almost like he's fiending for the Diddy parties. Like, man, it ain't going down like it was.
If you've been following Bow Wow's career from the start, you probably know how he got his big break at just 6 years old. Snoop Dogg discovered his talent and gave him the name Lil Bow Wow. Snoop even took him on tour, giving him a front row seat to the fast-paced world of hip-hop. However, things took a sharp turn when Snoop left Death Row Records amidst the label's violent drama. With Snoop parting ways with the label, he had to figure out what to do with young Bow Wow, leaving the future of his promising career uncertain.
Tell him your name.
Bella.
This is Bow Wow. Y'all hear that? Can y'all hear it? Yes. He's the future. He's a rapper, too. He gonna drop, and y'all go out and grab his stuff soon. We're gonna do this intro, okay? This is a comedian. You like comics? Cool.
My little nephew, Lil Bow Wow, was in the video.
Should have kept the plastic on in this one.
We met him at a concert we had did in Ohio.
Jobby job.
My DJ seen him in the audience. Pulled him backstage. He came backstage. He rapped. And after he rapped, he sounded so much like me. I was like, man, you Lil Bow Wow.
Enter So Def CEO Jermaine Dupri. Snoop Dogg, not wanting Bow Wow to get caught up in the chaos surrounding Death Row Records, passed him over to Dupri, who quickly signed him to So Def. Under Dupri's guidance, Bow Wow's career skyrocketed. He became one of the youngest rap artists to dominate the charts with hit songs and even landed movie roles. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. However, with Jermaine Dupri now being linked to Diddy's controversial freak-off scandals, people are starting to question whether there was more to Bow Wow's So Def era than met the eye. To make matters worse, rumors suggest that Dupri didn't just help Bow Wow's career, he might have introduced him to the darker side of the industry. Allegedly, Jermaine Dupri was a regular at Diddy's infamous parties, and some sources claim Bow Wow was often taken to these events. If true, it would mean that Bow Wow was exposed to this wild lifestyle while still a young child, raising even more alarming questions about what really went on behind the scenes.
It's love right here at the table right here, man. It's some 20-something years of love right here. Like, before I had kids, you was my son. And that's just what it is. It's the same with JD. I seen how he raised you. Like, he put his career on pause for you. Know that.
Legend has it that Jermaine Dupri wasn't just a mentor to Bow Wow. He allegedly introduced him to a side of the industry no child should ever be exposed to. But that's not where the whispers end. Word on the streets suggests that Dupri didn't just exploit Bow Wow himself, but also passed him around to other industry heavyweights, including, you guessed it, Diddy. These stories are horrifying, and if they hold any truth, they paint a deeply disturbing picture of what Bow Wow may have endured growing up in the limelight.
Yeah, I never really experienced that shit before. Like, and you know, I can only go by my life. You know what I'm saying? This is me talking about me. You know, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been living in Atlanta my whole life, damn near, for over 20 years, you know, and, you know.
But Jermaine Dupri's shady past doesn't stop with Bow Wow. Let's talk about the late Chris Kelly, one half of the legendary duo Criss Cross. You remember them for their hit song Jump Jump. Jermaine Dupri discovered the duo when they were just 12 years old, and they quickly became a household name in the early 90s. On the surface, it seemed like Dupri was simply nurturing young talent. But, according to rumors, there was a much darker side to their relationship. After Chris Kelly tragically passed away in 2013 from an overdose, speculation began to surface that his struggles with substances might have been rooted in trauma from his time under Dupri's mentorship. Many believe that the alleged horrific experiences Chris endured while working with Dupri contributed to his downward spiral, raising troubling questions about the true nature of their professional relationship.
He passes at a relatively young age. Was it 30-something?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you see that coming at all? Were you guys still in contact?
No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't see that coming. We was in we had just did the 20th anniversary, so it was like we had just started.
To make matters even worse, when news of Chris Kelly's death broke, Jermaine Dupri launched a PR campaign, acting as if he were the most heartbroken person on the planet. He even released an emotional statement calling Chris his son and claiming he would always love him. At first, people believed him, but doubts began to grow after Dupri appeared in a Vlad TV interview. His comments about Chris were suspicious at best. He couldn't even keep his story straight or remember Chris's name properly. Instead of expressing genuine grief, Dupri came off as shady, which only fueled the rumors about what really went on behind closed doors. And let's not forget, Mr. Cat Williams wasn't just throwing around random accusations. Cat Williams wasn't joking when he called out Diddy and Jermaine Dupri for their alleged behavior. As more stories continue to surface, it's becoming clear that Cat might have been onto something all along. At the time, many dismissed Cat as crazy or bitter, brushing off his claims as the rantings of someone out of touch. But in reality, he might have been one of the few brave enough to speak out against the powerful men running the industry. His accusations, once ignored, are now being re-examined in a much darker light. To make matters worse, Jermaine Dupri's past isn't just being re-examined because of Bow Wow or Criss Cross. His name has also surfaced in connection with Diddy's infamous freak-offs. With Diddy now facing serious allegations and more victims coming forward, many are beginning to wonder if Dupri could be next on the chopping block. After all, he and Diddy were known to roll together hard back in the day, frequently seen at the same events. If Dupri was truly involved in those wild parties, it seems like it's only a matter of time before someone comes forward with receipts, potentially dragging him deeper into the scandal. This is the shady part that really stands out. While Jermaine Dupri publicly acted heartbroken over Chris Kelly's passing, some fans believe it was nothing more than a performance to save face. Why? Because resurfaced comments suggest there was serious bad blood between Dupri and Chris before his death. One fan even went as far as to accuse Jermaine Dupri of trying to cover up the fact that Chris had once sued him. The fan claimed that the lawsuit was tied to allegations of misconduct, and that Chris and his family had actually won the case, though it was allegedly kept quiet from the public. Of course, Jermaine Dupri wasn't about to let this slide, and he clapped back at the fan, even threatening to sue the page that posted the comment. But that's not all. Fans weren't convinced by Dupri's response. After all, there are just too many stories about him and young boys in the industry to brush off these claims. Whether it was Bow Wow, Criss Cross, or other young artists he mentored, people can't help but wonder if there's more to this so-called mentorship than meets the eye. Given the pattern of troubling rumors and allegations surrounding Dupri, many believe the true nature of his relationships with these young stars could be much darker than anyone has been willing to admit.
So go back. So once I said Chris and Chris was watching Ice Cube and this, that, and third, and Chris and Chris went to Bunch Middle School, right? And I would pick. Once I became close with them, they didn't want their mamas to pick them up no more. It was Jermaine pick us up from school.
Speaking of questionable behavior, let's talk about the viral clip that recently started making the rounds. In the video, a former bodyguard from the infamous Tunnel nightclub spilled some serious tea about an incident involving Bow Wow. According to the bodyguard, Bow Wow, who was just about 15 or 16 at the time, was with a much older woman during a party. This revelation adds even more layers to the growing concerns surrounding his time in the industry and the disturbing events that allegedly took place behind the scenes.
Hey, that big booty Puerto Rican chick from Newark, New Jersey, by Broad Street in the projects. You know who I'm talking about. You know what you did with Bow Wow. Why you gonna rape that little nigga? You know he was only 15, 16 when he came up in this motherfucker. Why you gonna do that to the man?
You might be wondering, where was Jermaine Dupri in all of this? Well, that's exactly the problem. Instead of protecting Bow Wow, Dupri allegedly turned a blind eye to the whole situation. And that's not even the worst part. There are rumors that Dupri actually encouraged Bow Wow to embrace this kind of lifestyle at an early age, which, if true, would explain a lot about why Bow Wow ended up in so many wild situations later in life. If you thought Jermaine's past actions were already questionable, it gets even worse. In a recently resurfaced video, Dupri can be seen proudly boasting about taking a young Bow Wow to clubs and exposing him to things far beyond what any kid his age should have been dealing with. Instead of being a mentor who shielded Bow Wow from the darker side of the industry, Jermaine Dupri seemed to revel in the fact that he was introducing Bow Wow to a world meant for grown adults. But that's not all, because fans were shocked at how nonchalant Jermaine Dupri spoke about it, almost as if exposing a child to such an environment was something to brag about. This resurfaced clip reignited concerns about Jermaine Dupri's role in shaping Bow Wow's early years in the industry. After all, Bow Wow was only a teenager when he was placed in these situations, and Jermaine, being his mentor, should have known better. And just when we thought things couldn't get messier, the infamous limo incident comes to light. Rumors have been swirling for years that Bow Wow was taken advantage of by a male bodyguard in Jermaine's limo during his early career days. While Bow Wow has publicly denied these allegations, fans couldn't help but notice how careful he was with his words. It felt like he was holding something back, maybe out of fear or pressure from the industry. Some fans believe that Bow Wow's denial was less about clearing the air and more about trying to avoid bringing more attention to something he'd rather not discuss. He looked uncomfortable when fans commented after watching his response, as if he wanted to say more but couldn't. What makes this even more troubling is the pattern of silence surrounding these allegations. Just like Criss Cross's case, Jermaine Dupri seems to have a way of ensuring things don't fully come to light, whether through legal threats or industry pressure. Many believe that Dupri has done everything in his power to keep these stories under wraps. But Bow Wow's reluctance to openly speak about the limo incident only adds fuel to the fire. Was it just an unfortunate rumor, or is there more to the story than Bow Wow is willing or allowed to say? Whatever the truth is, the fact that so many young artists under Jermaine Dupri have faced similar rumors paints a very disturbing picture. Things took a darker turn when Bow Wow's ex-girlfriend Erica Mena exposed just how deeply he was affected by his experiences in the industry. Erica didn't hold back, revealing that Bow Wow carried a lot of unresolved trauma, which often manifested as anger issues. According to her, not only has Bow Wow been dealing with some emotional scars, but he also took out his frustrations on those closest to him, including her.